right, well, it's Donda time. I'm super excited, man, to finally be listening to this album. I'm really happy that it finally dropped. Apparently, it dropped without his permission. Universal dropped it without his permission. He said that on Instagram. I don't know if that's just part of the rollout to like generate hype or whatever. You never know with him, but apparently, I mean, he didn't want it to be out, but it's out. There's nothing he can do about it at this point. I guess all he can really do is update it, like The Life of Pablo, because so many people have already downloaded it. So it's out, which means I finally get to listen to it. I haven't heard really anything from it, and I'm just excited to finally get to listen to it. So before we jump into it, support the channel. If you end up enjoying the video, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that jazz. I really appreciate it. And before we jump into that, man, Drake, what is this, dude? I had it ready to go, man. What is this album cover? This is your album cover after years of not dropping any albums. This is what you come up. Drake, do better, man. Come on. Honestly, man, that's so disappointing. He still has time to change it by Friday. I'm hoping that he does, man. I'm hoping that the backlash is just so terrible and ridiculous, and that he gets bullied so hard. I'm hoping that he gets bullied so hard he changes it. I really do hope that. I hope that, man, because Donda's album cover is just a black square, and it's better than that. It's better than that. Why not make Certified Lover Boy just a white square? That would be better. You know what I mean? But in any case, we're gonna jump into Donda because I'm super excited, and we're here for the music. And plus, it's really long, so I'm probably gonna take a break halfway through. So in any case, let's listen to Donda Chant, which is track 1. Let's get it.
Donda, 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 Donda.
First track is actually Jail. Just skip Donda Chant. All right. Well, now we're talking. Loving these guitars, man. The distortion is crazy. That's so catchy. With the choir in the background, it's super cool. I just like the vibe, I just like the vibe. This is cool. I like these rants over these, more basic instrumentals, but I'm really hoping something interesting happens soon before this gets repetitive, you know what I mean? Well, that's interesting. I think I have, this is familiar. Okay, yeah, I've heard this during one of my streams. I think it was Duddy who sent in a donation and asked me to listen to this. It was after the very first Donda live stream. So that was like three or 4 weeks ago. So yeah, but this is familiar now. I forgot about the J verse. That's really cool. Yeah, so I've heard this one before. What's God Breathe gonna sound like? What's this gonna turn into? Yeah, I figured that was gonna be like an intro to something different. These dark choirs with the really heavy bass line is really cool. I love those choirs in the background, man. Yeah, I love the layering. Really reverberant. It's like he's singing by himself in a stadium. Is this really going to be just the second half all instrumentals? Like, I understand that for a live show, this would be insane. These arrangements and things like that. But for the solo listener, listening to the album, this goes on for a little too long. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna pause it after this one just to say that, the second half of this entire track is just basically instrumentals. And so that does go on for too long. I was saying that, for a live setting where you've got like, live instruments and the packed stadium and you're doing this and people are there in the moment feeding off of your energy and there to witness the arrangements live, that's one thing. This vibe moment, that's going to be a really special moment during that live concert. And I'm assuming that it was, if he played this track during the live shows that I just didn't watch them. But for this particular, setting, having it on the album where people are going to be listening to it driving or, chilling in bed or washing dishes or whatever, it's just too long of an instrumental moment, I think. Next track is Off the Grid. I heard this during my stream yesterday, so I'm going to play the clip from that stream of me reacting to it now. Wow. Not mad at that Playboy Cardi feature at all. We're going into a drill pattern now. Oh my god. Yeah. Love the bass. Hey. That thing's sliding, man. Let's go. That little lead right here is crazy. Playlist. I don't know that I love the filter over Kanye's vocals. I kind of wish they were a little louder. Kanye really is going crazy. I'm not delivering heavenly messages just for the hell of it. That's funny. I never thought I'd hear Kanye on drill, man.
Cause a black man never shares rib.
That's kind of funny, but it's also kind of corny. And let's move on to Hurricane. I did have this one spoiled for me. This is 80 Degrees, right? With The Weeknd on the hook.
See this in 3D.
This is already on my playlist, like immediately. Just the fact that we got a finished version of this, I love it. Let's go. He sounds so majestic. There it is. Don't let me down. Oh, the way the choirs... Oh my god, the way the choirs suddenly cut out for him to sing that last part by himself. Oh. Straight into a Lil Baby verse. This track is so good. Lil Baby, let's go. I feel like the original Leak had harder hitting drums. I would have liked those, but like I said, just the fact that we have some sort of a finished version of this is everything to me, so I love it. Oh wow, the play on Hail and Hell is great. Oh, let's go, Kanye. Nice. $60 million home never went home to it is such an insane flex.
Everybody hurts, but I don't judge rentals.
Oh wow. Everybody hurts, but I don't judge rentals. Hurts like the rental car company. Oh, and here with the synth bass and the different drums. The Weeknd is such a perfect human being. Oh, that song is so epic, man. I love Hurricane. That's a playlist track 100%. Love The Weeknd on there. Love Lil Baby. Kanye's flow is fire. He has some really great bars in there. The way that they use the synth bass there towards the end, and they have the choir come in for that "Don't Let Me Down," and then they cut out just for The Weeknd to say that "I Know You Won't" line alone with like a heavy reverb, no instrumentals. Just like he's got this moment where he's just feeling so alone, but he says, "I know you won't let me down," and he's by himself. So it's like this just moment of despair where you're alone and you feel like there's nowhere to turn to, and still having faith that God's not going to let you down. Is such a really nice little image, man. Really cool. Track 6 is Praise God. That was a tight flow. That was a really tight flow. I'm pretty sure that's the same flow that Drake used at the beginning of Wants and Needs. Great bounce. Yeah. I actually don't know who the feature is. I don't recognize the voice. This track actually is just okay. I think this track is just okay. Yeah, I think that last track, Praise God, is just okay. At first, I was really excited to hear Travis on here, but the longer it went on, the more kind of underwhelmed I was. The drums weren't really wowing me. The Travis feature was just okay. Kanye, I guess he did his thing on that, but that one's just kind of mid, in my opinion. Track 7's Jonah.
Like who's here when I need a shoulder to lean on? I hope you're here when I need a demons to be gone. You can rest and show it's not us. Sweeping out the wave, catching waves.
This is cool.
They say need a shoulder to lean on. I hope you're here when I...
This is nice. I like this feature, man.
Like that. Holy Father, please let me step in. He talk to Buddy like
this one's okay too. It's not bad, but
coming right back.
It's not wowing me, man.
Cause my guys back to work. It's a Monday like that.
Yeah, Jonah's just not really wowing me, man. It's also a good song, I guess. I wouldn't skip it necessarily. I don't think it's a bad track, but I don't know, man. I'm expecting more. You know, I'm expecting higher quality tracks than that. Track 8 is okay, okay. I'm expecting something that blows me away. This is Kanye West, man.
Okay, now they got me wanna rap again. You the type to cut the grass and snake your bestest man.
Yeah.
I'm the type to know real identity. Can't tell you from you.
This is catchy.
Get out the way.
This kind of sounds like a Drake hook.
Cut him loose. Had my hands around her neck, grip tight like a noose. Tell your story with a bad noose.
Yachty's actually going off, and I'm not a big Yachty fan.
I pity juice.
Okay, not okay.
No, this hook's really catchy. Man, I hate when I can't recognize the voices.
Had enough of that, yeah.
Yeah, okay, okay is, you know, when I say that I need tracks to wow me, I don't need them to be extremely elaborate. The production on okay, okay is relatively simple. But I like the 808 bounce, I like the, you know, atmospheric pads, and I think that the chorus is really catchy. I think that Lil Yachty's verse was really surprising because I don't tend to enjoy Lil Yachty and his music, but he really killed it on this one. And I really wish I could recognize the voice for that third feature, or that second feature, the third verse, but I wasn't able to. And they don't have the features listed. And yeah, I think it's kind of fun trying to guess who the voices are, but sometimes I just don't recognize them, you know? It took me a minute to recognize Lil Yachty's voice because he really changed his performance on this one. He changed his approach on this one, and I thought that that was really good. I added okay, okay to my playlist. This is, you know, the sort of level that I'm expecting. Is something interesting and different and something that kind of surprises me a little bit, you know? Track 9's Junior.
Ex-strippers, new killers, shot, all summer, 4-5 gunners,
This kind of sounds unfinished. This sounds like a cool idea that he's not done with yet. Let's go. Yeah, this really sounds unfinished. Be honest? Stop it, man. That's such a bad bar. Yeah, man. Junior sounds like a really cool idea that he just didn't flesh out. You know what I mean? It sounds unfinished. For some reason, Playboi Carti's vocals sound like there's a whole lot of reverb on Playboi Carti's vocals, and Kanye's vocals sound really dry. They don't really sound like they're, you know, fitting very well together on this track. They sound like, I don't know. They don't sound, I don't want to say the same, but they don't sound like they were both mixed for the same song. You know, it feels kind of weird. I could use some, you know, cooler drums on this one. Maybe some variation in those melodies. I mean, I just feel like it was headed in the right direction, but it's just not long enough and it's not developed enough. So I feel like Junior could have been great. Decided to, you know, flesh it out a little bit more. Believe what I say, track 10. Some tracks definitely sound more finished than others, man.
just one time for the record. Man, it's too early.
And the muffled little vocals. Synths sound so good, man. This sounds cool, man. I like this little vibe. I added this one to my playlist. Kind of a fun little vibe, you know? I'm not mad at this one at all. 24. Love that.
Never the right time to go. Gotta know everybody wanna feel like everything gone.
This is gorgeous. Love the understated drums. Those organs feel awesome. The choirs are so gorgeous, man. I love this vibe. Oh, I love this track, man. I have goosebumps. Woo, goosebumps all up and down my arms, man. So gorgeous. Look at those organs singing, man. Hey, love the riffing, man. That feels so sweet. Woo, the organs. Absolutely gorgeous track, man. Whoever was playing those organs was on fire, dude. Those organs were singing, man. The choirs sound great. I like the way they mixed them. You know, it sounds like they pitched them down. They've got them, you know, sitting in the background. It's got a really nice open sort of a feeling to it. It's got a really nice emphatic and triumphant and, you know, just happy kind of a vibe to it that I really enjoyed. You know, in contrast to the brightness of the organs, the choirs had a deeper sound. They had a warmer, thicker sound. Kanye had a, you know, a really nice performance on this. I mean, just everything about this one was working for me. So 24 is a great track in my opinion. Remote Control, track 12. Loving all the different elements in this production. Oh, that's stupid fire. Hey. There's a really sluggish kind of a feeling to this song, like it's just churning along. I think the neighbor's dog is barking. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really not mad at this Young Thug participation, man. Yeah, I'm not mad at Remote Control. I like Young Thug's part on there. I like the production, I like the drums. I just feel like there's kind of like a sluggish sort of a feeling to it. I feel like this track is maybe a little too slow. I think it might have been a little cooler if it were faster. It just feels like it drags along a little bit. There's something about it that's just, it feels that way. I don't know if it's the hats. I don't know if it's the little fills that he added. I don't know what it is that makes this track feel a little too slow. But it's not bad. Track 13 is Moon. I actually reacted to this last night during the stream as well. I'll put the clip into the video now. This is the same melody from, it's Hurricane, right? 80 Degrees.
Thinking I should be a better me. Heaven knows I might never sleep. Trouble in.
I mean, this is gorgeous. There's nothing really to say about it. It's Cudi sounds great. Cudi sounds so good. Look at Donnie, man. No, it's the same little melody. Na 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 na. Father, hold me close, don't let me down. It's the same little melody there. Gorgeous track. Beautiful production. I love hearing Don Toliver and Kid Cudi on this track, dude. Really nice. It kind of feels like an interlude. It's a longer interlude, but it's still gorgeous, man. It's definitely a callback to that other Kanye track. Man, I love both of those songs. And so we're just gonna jump right into Heaven and Hell.
No more promos, no more photos, no more logo. Who really are you? I know the real
Fire.
you. You know
This sounds like an anthem for Kanye himself. Love the pianos, the way they just came in there. Oh! Talk about cinematic, man. Playlist track 100%. Let's go. I'm not mad at that little sample. That's pretty cool. Love how cinematic this is, though. This is awesome. Yeah, I'd have to say that that's one of the more cinematic tracks that we've heard so far. Really like the way that the choir, it wasn't a choir, but it was like that moment where the rest of all the instruments came in and supported his vocals out of nowhere. That was just a really big moment that I could definitely see during like a soundtrack or something like that. Just feels like that epic climax to a movie or something. I think that's really cool. I love the more cinematic, vibes that Kanye goes for sometimes, man. He really nails it on this one, I think. So that's a great track. I think that's really anthemic for himself, just talking about all of the things that he's just not going to put up with anymore. And I like that. I like that. There's a lot of things he says on there that are a little relatable, right? Cutting out liars from your circle, just not really putting up with anything that's not going to bring you what you need in your life, and just not going to accept the snakes in the grass anymore, just not taking that anymore. So I like that. I like that. That's kind of anthemic. We've hit the halfway mark officially, so I'm gonna give you guys some thoughts halfway through, just so that I don't forget. And I'm gonna take a little break, and we'll come back and listen to the rest of this album. So halfway through, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna be real honest. It's not as great as I was expecting it to be, but it's definitely not bad. It's 100% not bad so far. There have just been a couple tracks that I just wanted to be better. You know what I mean? Junior, for one, I think could have been better. I think I remember saying that God Breathed, that second half just went on for too long. Jail was cool, but at some points it did feel a little empty with just the guitars. There was a couple moments here where I was like, wow, yeah, this sounds really good, but it doesn't sound finished, or it doesn't sound like what I was expecting, or it doesn't sound as great as I wanted it to. I was expecting the choirs to be utilized, you know, more often to give this a really big, emphatic kind of a sound. I was expecting more cinematic vibes. I was expecting this to really sound, I don't know, like a turning point, you know, for Kanye in his life. I mean, he's somebody who's going through some major changes recently, and I was expecting that to reflect in the music so far, and that's not really what I've gotten. I am getting high quality music. I am getting good music. I'm getting things that Kanye can do with his eyes closed, you know, with some really major standout tracks, like, for example, Off the Grid, Hurricane, 24, Moon. You know, these are highlights that I'm adding to my playlist that I think are like, okay, yeah, this is what this album should sound like, including Heaven and Hell as well. This is what I wanted this album to sound like all the way through, you know, a little bit more consistent, and it just hasn't sounded very consistent. Sometimes the tracks are awesome, and sometimes the tracks are okay, they're good. I wouldn't skip them, you know? So I wanted a little bit more consistency. I wanted this to be something a little bit more great, something a little bit more meaty, I guess, something I could really sink my teeth into, something that just gives me goosebumps up and down my arms, something that, I don't know, would be album of the year, you know, so far. And I don't hear album of the year yet in this halfway through. So maybe the second half really picks up, maybe it doesn't. Either way, I'm starting to think that 27 tracks is too much for this album. I'm starting to think that maybe some of the tracks that sound a little more underdeveloped should have been left off. We'll see how I feel at the end of the album, whether I still feel the same way or whether I, you know, come to my senses or whether my mind has changed. But right now, I'm a little underwhelmed by the album because I was expecting a whole lot from it. But it still doesn't sound bad. Like right now, I'm hearing maybe a 7 out of 10 halfway through. 7 sounds decent. I'm going to take a break and I'll be right back. And we'll get started with Donda, the title track. Yeah, man. So during my break, I had The Life of Pablo on in the background. And man, that you know, that's just such an S-tier album in my opinion that it really does kind of put what I've heard so far on Donda to shame. Like that album starts off strong and it goes all the way through to the end, man. Like just so strong, so solid all the way through, so consistently great that you know, it really does put these first 14 tracks that I've heard, you know, to shame. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't want to come off as super negative or anything like that. That's not my goal here. I want to enjoy it because Kanye is one of my favorite artists. He just hasn't been as good as he has been before. You know what I mean? I'm really hoping that the second half of this album wows me and saves this from being just a good album. I want this album to be great. You know what I mean? So we're going to keep it going with track 15, Donda.
Said something that was a little bit dangerous. He told me I could talk about anything I wanted to, what he has meant to me, but what he has meant to a generation. Forever is the kingdom.
This is a cool interlude, man. I like this. Yeah, man, that's a really dope interlude. The title track, his mom kind of talking about him there. I like the choirs. I like the chords. You know, it's just a solid interlude, man. There's nothing real bad I could say about it. I like it. It's gonna be a cool transition into track 16, Keep My Spirit Alive. Nice.
Laying in the hospital when I got shot, fam. Mama prayed for me, said she left it in God's hand.
Oh, that was a really short verse. I wish that would have gone on for a little bit longer.
Now Wakanda, but Wakanda is kinda like what we about to make. Who needs practice? I don't do rehearsals and I don't.
I like that little flow he was going in. Cool, man. I like this one. This is a playlist track. That's all I needed, man. Sweet chorus, dope verses, great features. Not mad at this at all. Jesus Lord. This is a longer one, man. 9 minutes. What's this gonna sound like?
Why so many people leave? I see them changed by the season. That's mama's seasoning. God good, it just go unnoticed. Did they tell you that you good and just stay focused? Well, I see it in the afterlife, but back to reality where everything's a tragedy. You finna go up.
The storytelling here is great.
A daughter just turned 1. The only thing that helped the grieving up inside He even let them get their last meal.
He back from the great and yonder, the son of man and the son of Donda. I never rode the Jix or the R6 or the Honda, but did the Ghana. Into Postland, they call me Tero Moto, El Negro Loco. I it's like the pyramid temples of Paco Vulture. And DOJ confirmed Ezekiel's will like a chair for what seemed like light years. A rugged cross and thorny crown squeeze out Christ tears.
Tell me if you know someone that needs.
That's a great verse from Jay Electronica, man.
If my father's intentions were to lead us to death, destruction, and to the hell that he...
That's a powerful track, man. That's a powerful track. It has an insane verse from Kanye, displaying some of his skills and his talent as a lyricist. And I do think that he is underrated as a lyricist and as a storyteller. And we get a great verse from Jay Electronica. And then finally, to close us out with that phone call or message, man, it's just a really powerful song. It's 9 minutes, and I was kind of enthralled all the way through it, you know, so that's really good. That's really, really good. I didn't get bored. I wasn't distracted. I was nothing. I was here, man. They had me in the palm of their hands with this track. It's really crazy. Track 18 is New Again.
Should I really bought the Burberry last Thursday? Wear a different color jersey every Thursday. Make me new. Make me new again. Make me new again. Make me new again.
Man, the synths are so beautiful.
What they vandalize, he'll evangelize, son. Make me new again. Make me new again.
Yeah, that's a cool track, man. That is a really cool track. I feel like the ending goes on for a little too long, where they just keep repeating "Make Me New Again" over and over and over and over again. But I like the synth work. I like his verse here. It's got a cool little vibe to it, man. I don't know how catchy it is. I don't know how replayable it is, to be honest. I've only heard it once, but I'm not mad at that one. Tell the Vision. What is this, man? I don't feel good about this. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, clearly, he doesn't even have the vocal stems for Pop Smoke there. I mean, you can hear the filtered, you know, drum sounds in the background. They're trying to just EQ out the instrumentals from the whatever song that's from, just to have the vocals on these basic pianos. And I you know, these posthumous usages of Pop Smoke and his vocals, man, they leave a bad taste in my mouth. Whether or not this was approved before he passed, or this was a collab that was in the works before he passed, I mean, I don't know. But I mean, just the fact that they don't have the vocal stems, and the fact that, you know, that this was taken from another track and just added some pianos to it, like it leaves a sort of a bad taste in my mouth. I don't know. I don't know about this one, man. Tell the Vision, no, from me. You know what I mean? Lord, I Need You. Love the choirs, man. Every time he uses the choirs, it's great.
When you say give me a ring, you really meant a ring, huh? Let's collab since Taco Bell and KFC. Talk to me nicely, don't come at me loud. You had a big court, they rented a room, we bought the resort. God got us,
Custody.
baby, God
Wow.
got the children. The devil run the playground, God on the building. A different direction lately. Trying to do the right thing.
I like this one. This is good too. This is cool. Really honest and kind of vulnerable from Kanye. I love the riffs that the choirs sing, man. The choirs might be the best part about that track, in my opinion. Like, honestly, the choirs just might be the best thing about Lord, I Need You, man. The vocals in the background are just so sweet, but the subject matter is pretty cool too. Kanye's just being nice and honest. Not mad at that. Pure Souls.
I sell my soul, and I cannot. You feel like you trailblaze for the trenches. I hope God can forgive me for the days that I was sinning. Goes, but here goes. I was one of them weirdos of the pure soul that would go to the fleet. How we in my car and you say we ain't in the same lane? When we both had pellies on and we was scamming for the pet. And we outside, this outside, and we outside, this outside. Not what a person is worth. I could give $1 to every person on earth. Man, it's gotta be God's plan to be. This the new me, so get used to me. Looking in the mirror is the truth for me.
I feel like Roddy's carrying, man. This also feels kind of unfinished. Yeah, man. I think that it sounds like he wants every single song to sound like an intro, man. To have some sort of a deep moment of reflection with like a super long instrumental portion where they just keep repeating the same thing over and over again. And not every song has to be like that, man. I feel like the number of actual like replayable tracks is really low out of the 21 songs we've heard so far. Tracks that I feel like, yeah, this is a really cool song. I want to come back to this one. I want to have this one in constant rotation. Like, so many of these songs, I feel like you only have to listen to them once. You know what I mean? To get the experience out of it. Like, I feel like once you've heard it once, you've heard it 1,000 times with a lot of these songs. This is one that sounds kind of unfinished. There's just like a lack of production on this one. Roddy was carrying, man. He did his thing on this one, but I just feel like, I don't know, it feels like it's not done. It feels like it's too long and the song just isn't finished. You know what I mean? It's just kind of underwhelming. Track 22 has come to life.
Did she finally come to life? Ever wish you had a night so long? I've been in the dark for so long. Night is always darkest for the dawn. Gotta hide me, all the stars are aligned. Living up every time. You know exactly where to find. Praying for a change in your life, and maybe they'll come to life.
I love this production right here, man. Crazy synth bass, love the pianos. But again, supposed to be the super reflective moment. I don't know, you know? Yeah, man. It feels like every track is like an end of a Kanye concert rant. You know what I mean? And that's not a bad thing. Like, it sounds cool. It's just not something that you would replay over and over and over again. Like, I don't know, man. A lot of these don't feel like songs. They feel like rants. They feel like rants over instrumentals. I don't know. Honestly, I'm starting to get to a point where I'm just at a loss for words. No Child Left Behind is track 23.
No child, back again, I use my back against the wall. Never caught on y'all, never count on y'all. Never caught on y'all, never count on y'all. Always count on God.
He's done miracles on me.
And then this is an interlude, and this sounds gorgeous, you know? I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on at this point. Yeah, I like that one. That one sounds like it's an interlude, and that one is awesome. Super simple, and because it's an interlude, I'm way more lenient with it, you know what I mean? He did repeat the same thing just a couple times. He's done miracles on me, but it sounds good. It sounds cool, you know what I mean? Like, it's, I don't know. It sounds right. You know what I mean? It sounds like everything that was done on this track fits the vibe, and it's short, and it's sweet, and it gets in and out, and it does the job, and it's, you know, done. And I like the way No Child Left Behind sounds. Jail Part 2.
You know that feed my daughters, huh?
Your daughters aren't going hungry anytime soon, the baby. Stop it.
Like your world falling, getting too hard to catch it, ain't it? You and your girl arguing, you don't like how she acting lately, giving it even half a basic. I read the affidavit. Let's see what it is with you. The only thing I did.
I'm not a fan of the baby verse, man. I had the lyrics up. You know, I looked it up on Google to see what was different about it from Jail Part 1, and I saw that it was just the Marilyn Manson feature, and I saw there was a DaBaby feature, so I had the lyrics up and I was reading along with it. And that just seems unnecessary, you know? I mean, the whole thing that happened with him and what he said, and to try to make it seem like his daughters were going to go hungry because he got canceled for being homophobic, like, that's just stupid. You know what I mean? His daughters are not going to go hungry anytime soon. And the fact that he said what he said and he just doubled down on it and put out like some bullcrap statement that someone else wrote for him, and then said that everybody was a crybaby for reacting the way that they did to what he said, and just like really doubling down, and then saying that I guess I'm guilty and they're gonna have to take me to jail or whatever. Like that's just stupid. You know what I mean? Just say, hey, look, man, I said some dumb shit, and I'm gonna try and be better and learn from it and not do it again. That's really all you got to do. But no, to double down and say, well, I guess you're gonna have to take me to jail, and you guys are all just crybabies. That's just dumb. That's just dumb. Okay, part 2.
With precision, fi number one position. Write the plan, write my rank. Me fi granted, take me fi off. And if you play hard, get cut off. You will get cut off. Me no care how much memories.
Had enough of that, yeah. I done had too many. Stab me in the back.
So I'm assuming that all the part 2s are just the same songs, but with different features on them. And I'm really not mad at these new OK OK features. I think, I mean, I'm looking it up here. Apparently it was from Ruga and Shenseiya. And I believe Vivio Foreign was in the ad-libs apparently in the first part, which I didn't catch the first time around. Yeah, I'm really not mad at these new features. I think that they both killed it, honestly. I think that this is a nice little remix of OK OK. And I maintain that the chorus to OK OK is really catchy, but it does sound like a Drake chorus, which is really funny to me. Junior Part 2. So who's the new feature on Junior Part 2?
You want steady? Like wasabi, yeah. I know the steppers and hitters. They don't do karate.
Ty Dolla, let's go. Should have put Ty Dolla on the original version, man. He sounds great. Yeah, I think that there shouldn't have been a part 2 to Junior. I think Ty Dolla should have been on the original version, and there should have just been one, because he sounds great. Ty Dolla is a cheat code feature, and I always maintain that. So this is also a really dope remix of Junior. But like I said, I think that he should have just been on the original version and cut one track out of the track list, know what I mean? But we've made it to the last track, Jesus Lord Part 2. Let's see this.
Yeah, what up? Get that money in, forget him. He's but where do I sit him? I was born to rock a crown. Yeah, I knocked it down. You ain't really happy for me, you mad that I popped. The car, 5 houses, like look what I copped.
Yeah, after that they go and give veneers or the porcelain. We all need die, then you try again. Yeah. You get your angel wings, then you fly again.
Fire.
Ain't no die. I am feeling rage on the inside. What is mine? Love and hate is a thin line. By the way, is it ghetto up in heaven, man? If it is.
Yeah, it's essentially the same track with 3 new features from Sheek Louch, Styles P, and Jadakiss. And honestly, again, I think it's a really dope remix. I love the 3 new features. I love all of that. But why make us listen to the same song for over 5 minutes before we finally get to the new features? You know what I mean? Why not make this like 4 minutes long and only have the beat with the 3 new features on it? Why make it an 11-minute-and-a-half song? You know what I mean? Make us listen to like essentially the same track we've heard for over 5 minutes before we get to the new features. That just doesn't make too much sense to me. So I would have done the same beat with just the 3 new features on it, and maybe just the chorus once, and that would have been it. It would have been like 4 minutes long. It would have been just a new version of Jesus Lord instead of the same thing with some added features. But at that point, I'm just being picky. I do really like the OK OK Part 2 and Junior Part 2 remixes. Jesus Lord remix was really dope, just too long. Man, let's talk about Donda, dude. Honestly, let's talk about Donda. I feel like this review is coming off as kind of overly negative, but that's not really the case. I'm not negative towards this album. It's just underwhelming. It's not what I was expecting it to be, you know? And that's just a little disappointing. Especially with an album that is this long. You know what I mean? To be underwhelmed after almost 2 hours of listening to music is disappointing. When you have Kanye West albums like The Life of Pablo, which are just so legendary, like The College Dropout, like, you know, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, like Yeezus, like all of his previous projects that are just so mind-blowingly good, to get something that kind of sounds so inconsistent and so unfinished at certain parts and so disjointed and so weird and so, I don't know, lackluster, it's disappointing. I feel like it was really hyped up due to the way that he released it, the album rollout, the fact that he announced it last year and didn't drop it, and everybody hyping this up on Twitter and making it seem like this was some life-changing album. I mean, all of that, you know, kind of ruins the album for me because it just overhypes it. It overhypes it a lot. Honestly, I don't think that this album is better than a 7. After listening to all 27 tracks, I don't think that anybody who rates this higher than a 7, I just completely disagree with them. You know what I mean? Like, this is not a great album. This is a really good album. You know, it's above average. It's really good, but there are so many tracks that just feel unfinished. So many songs that just feel like you've heard them once, you've heard them 1,000 times. They just feel like disjointed rants over really nice instrumentals. I mean, out of 27 tracks, I don't think I even added 10 to my playlists, to be honest. And you know, tracks that feel really replayable, songs that I would like to come back to, songs that feel like songs and don't feel like rants. You know what I mean? Jail is cool. Off the Grid's great. Hurricane's great. Okay Okay has a nice, has a nice chorus to it, and it has a really dope remix to it. Let's see, 24 was fire. Moon was really good. Heaven and Hell was really good. Donda was a nice little interlude. If I'm not mistaken, I don't feel good about Television at all. I wish that was not on this album. Jesus Lord had some really nice lyricism and also some really great features on the remix. Let's see. No Child Left Behind, I was really happy with the way that sounded. But I mean, like I said, they're not even 10 tracks out of 27. So, I'm underwhelmed by it. I don't think it's a bad album. I don't think it's a mid album. I think it's a really good album that was overhyped and didn't live up to any of the hype that was generated surrounding it. And it's definitely not great like a lot of Kanye's other projects. I think that he has been really inconsistent lately, and I feel like a lot of these songs are unfinished. Those are just my thoughts, man, after hearing it once. Let's see how I feel after future listens. I mean, if my mind changes, I'll be sure to update, you guys with a new video or let you guys know in the stream or something like that. But yeah, these are my thoughts, man. I still hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, share it with somebody, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back with more content soon, man. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later. Until then, stay safe. Peace out.